Let's talk about the tariffs, both from what Trump has been doing. All the economists got it wrong, of course, no surprises there. Do you remember all that kind of, oh, it's going to be world recession, it's going to be this, it's going to be a disaster, it's isolationist, all the top conservative...
Share market will crash.
All the top conservative
inflation.
commentators.
Recession, depression.
Yes.
Hey,
he's an isolationist, protectionism. Oh.
America's going to lose out, and we've just seen him strike the biggest trade deal thus far. Japan was pretty huge, but the EU deal, even the Trump deranged crowd had to acknowledge what an enormous win that was for Trump. The deal he secured there for America, astonishing on so many levels. And already in 2025, they've had $150 billion in tariff revenue come in. Yeah. Thus far, hasn't been inflationary. The share market is at a record pace. So it's not... The economists have really been quite embarrassed here. Not every single economist, but the overwhelming majority that the media go to got this so horrifically wrong, and the expert class has had another blow.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
You know, I mean, the thing that people are finally starting to wake up to is what the whole point of what Trump is trying to do here is. You know, like since World War II and all the way through the Reagan era and beyond, we had this kind of assumption that free trade was good in and of itself, just simply for its own sake. And like on one level, yeah, free trade is good, but not at the expense of an unbalanced trading order where a company like China comes in, you know, steals IP, uses incredibly cheap and in some cases slave labor, manipulates its own currency, manipulates markets, dumps its own products, and winds up putting countries like the United States and Australia into this position where all of their industry goes overseas, all of the, you know, their national security of being able to make their own steel goes overseas, all of these sort of things, and their currencies wind up out of balance. So he's rebalancing the market. This is what it's about. This is actually really healthy. Now, I'm all in favor of free trade between like nations, but when you've got a country like China, and this whole strategy is ultimately about, and you can see, Rita,
even the EU.
But the way he's also done this here is to say we need money to pay off this deficit, and this money is going to that deficit. They still have to cut spending, but this is the point. Otherwise, he knew that, you know, America was headed for a cliff of debt, and this is the only way that they can turn around from that.
I think it goes beyond that. I think it's not just free trade is fine as long as both nations are free and they're not imposing tariffs. No. You protect your own industries, you protect your own workers. As the President of the United States with an America First agenda, that is your number one priority. And if that means Australia or the UK or some other ally gets a lesser deal, that's what you do. And Trump doesn't just use this to bring back manufacturing. He's actually doing it to exercise foreign policy as well, because we saw this week the deal with India. We know the President has got very good relationships with Prime Minister Modi in India. He loves India. But India got a dud deal because they're buying so much from Russia. They're getting arms from Russia. They're getting energy, I think, also from Russia. So they were punished for that reliance on Russia. So, again, it's a very clever way of not just bolstering your homegrown manufacturing, but it's also to put pressure on countries to behave the way you want them to, whether that's distancing yourself from Russia or China